this goes back to the Doc Rivers press conference laugh. It's like this is someone who of power and authority who we've got to be on good terms with. So I'm going to laugh even if the joke isn't funny.
But I'm telling you, man, when it is about wrapping yourself in Old Glory, and if you push back on that, while it's a completely valid thing to observe, Roy, that's a weird crack to make against the women who are a dynasty in their sport. To make that crack. But if you bring that up, you're going to hear from people about you can't. Why are you such a snowflake, Roy? Why can't you get behind? This is a great moment for the country.
I want to go back to
the reaction. I'm not saying I'm living in the world that exists. It's not the one that I.
Then I would have to deal with it. I'm going to surprise you. Like for me, this one didn't even register on the threshold of like, wow, the politics is really ruining this moment. Maybe it's because the moment was so unprecedented in my lifetime. Maybe it was something that we were chasing for so long. Or maybe it's because I built up a little bit of a callus. Like Kash Patel, it ain't going to really register with me. Now, Chelsea Club World Cup on the stage, Donald Trump being there, presenting the championship and being in team photos, I'm like, this one's making it difficult. I think when you consider the balance of how much politics has been injected into sports, yeah, I wasn't crazy about the looks and of that video, especially the shot that he took at the women's team. But all in all, I'm like, this one, we can survive this one. We can enjoy sports still. And it's a shame that, I understand why a lot of people don't feel that way.
I agree with you. Obviously, I agree with that sentiment. What I'm saying is it going to put a stink on those guys given what may go down in the next year or three?
I don't think this administration's going to age particularly well.
It's not like Obama was in the locker room yucking it up. Like, I can't believe I was with Obama after what we now know about Obama.
It's part of the Josh Pate thing that we discussed last week.
Right.
I was just like, as a Josh Pate fan and as a fan of that show, I'm also a little bummed. Like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you want to?
But you know why he's doing it,
and have a.
You know why?
I know what his intentions were. I know what he said, what he advertised this interview in terms of like what it was going to be about.
No.
It was going to be an NIL discussion about college football, and the president certainly has opinions there and has power to do something about it.
It's not about that. It's not about that. It's the same reason all those comedy podcasts had him on before the election. It's not about – a lot of people falsely say, oh, these guys are all MAGA. I'm like, they're not. They just want the views. You have the president on. It is a massive boost, regardless of whether people love him or hate him, regardless of whether your fan base loves that president or hates that president. It is a massive thing, and we live in a time where that economy of attention is more important than ever and reaches to a grassroots level. It used to be there were the gatekeepers, and we always talk about gatekeepers in a bad way, like, oh, stop gatekeeping. But the reality is it also insulates the individuals from that impulse of just anything for attention. But now that we've removed the gatekeeping of broadcast television networks and all that stuff, and it's literally any guy with a camera and a microphone, if I have the right connections, I can get the guest on, and now my show can be a thing. At that point, your boy Josh Pate is not thinking, oh, wait, am I sports washing this guy? He's thinking about, oh, my God, this is it.
That's right.
This is how we crack open with Pardon My Take and LeBatard Show and Bill Simmons Pod. Like, that's how I break through.
And Football America.
And I understand why people applied that scrutiny on the front end. I wanted to believe Josh Pate when he said, this is not going to be a political discussion. I'm going to ask him about NIL and college football and how we shape that. I listened to the interview this morning on my way. It was shorter than I thought. Pate actually explained why.
He's the president.
He said things changed with the schedule. And I will say that it wasn't a political discussion. I think Pate, and now I don't know how much was edited, but there was one moment where Trump patted himself on the back about the job that he did with Venezuela. But even for Trump, who meanders and rambles a lot, like he didn't inject a lot of that into the conversation. There also wasn't college football. It was actually really embarrassing because there was one soft toss to the president, like, what would you do about this? And he started rambling about how the Gamecocks are good and the NFL kickoff rule, and it was just bad. Like,
he's really hot on that NFL kickoff rule.
All he talks about.
He was playing his football hits, but then like the very next question is like, what'd you talk about on the golf trip? And then he blew up Urban Meyer's spot, who said it was a bipartisan conversation about college football. Instead, like Trump was like, yeah, they were asking me about Iran, which was funny. But there was nothing there in terms of substantial NIL opinion.
Did you think there was going to be?
I thought so after Josh Pate taped it and said that's what the conversation was going to be. I have the full list of 9 questions here. It was more like, hey, how do you hire the people that you hire? What have you learned about being president twice? The Lincoln bedroom story. Tell me about that. So at the end of it, we got an interview that no doubt will raise Josh Pate's profile, a profile that is
Well, that's
ascending.
I am curious about that because, like I just said to Roy, you've got to live in the world that exists, not the one you wish were true. And I feel like a lot of the people that I've seen online going at Josh Pate in advance of this were kind of hoping this is gonna damage your career, man.
He also
and
dismissed,
not like Amin just said. Oh no, Josh Pate understood this is gonna enhance my.
I
profile.
never heard of Josh Pate until this.
Pate
came
also
up.
dismissed the critiques that he got from people on that side of the aisle saying, how are you normalizing this person? He dismissed a lot of those criticisms as criticisms generated by bots, which wasn't the greatest look. Also, not how the bots are working lately. But yeah, Trump got what he wanted too, which was a sports platform, normalizing him and bringing an audience to Josh Pate. And all in all,
you're a snowflake if you complain about that arrangement. That's my point.
Right.
You cannot make noise about that or Kash Patel or otherwise or be attacked by a large percentage of the country as being soft or a snowflake or unpatriotic.
But it didn't achieve anything other than that. It just maybe, and to the skepticism that Amin is applying to it, maybe that was the goal at the end of the day. But it was a bad interview with a rambling, meandering interview subject that actually didn't know anything about college football and didn't have anything to say on the matter. And Josh Pate didn't accomplish what he set out to do in terms of the gambit of we're going to have an NIL discussion, and that's why you take the president on. This guy is very powerful when it comes to reshaping the sport, and you didn't get any of that.
He could have on himself for 22 minutes, literally. As long as he said, I got President Trump on, that's all it is about, man.
And by the way, Trump does get something out of that beyond that, like all the broadcasts, the comedy broadcasts from last year, 2 years ago. He did to the people he wants to play to specifically in Georgia, talking about how Gunner's a great QB and he loves Gunner and he loves Nick Saban.
Gunner's a
and
great
he loves,
QB.
And he loves Herb. Well, mission accomplished then. He played the greatest hits there.
Yeah, there's a reason why they picked the varsity in Atlanta, Georgia, playing in that state, which is an important state for the midterms. And there's a reason why they picked Josh Pate's
But the
football
bottom
program.
line, what's most important, though, is that we make sure we separate sports and politics. Do you see this? The last 10 minutes of conversation have fed entirely what the stated thing. You people with your taking a knee during the night. Why can't we? We want an escape, don't you know, from the real world. That's why we watch sports. And the last 10 minutes of this show and a lot of the conversation since that gold medal game is about Kash Patel's presence in the dressing room and so on.
This is a lot of politics on the show today, even for me.
Am I to believe that they did this at the varsity on North Ave?
They did.
Believe it.
Let me tell you right now, as a Georgia Tech alum,
I don't think it's the one in North Ave.
Oh,
it
it's
was
not
in
the
Rome. It was in Rome, Georgia. Yeah.
Yo, that's
Us Atlanta Metro
that's
guys.
probably
yeah.
worse.
It was not on North Ave. It was in Rome.
I went to the varsity at North. Everyone who goes to Georgia Tech as a freshman, you're like, you got to go eat at the varsity, man. That's what we do. You go, you're like, oh my God, I got to go eat at the varsity. Eat at the varsity. And then you realize your bowels are JV because you are going to be yourself for
Not good?
days. It is not good. Sorry.
It's bad.
If you work at the varsity, my bad. But no, everyone knows.
It's just close by.
You go once and you never go again. Everyone I went to school with, you go once, you never go again.
Rambling wreck from Georgia Tech.
Hell of an engineer. Hell of an
engineer.